Welcome! If you are new to the channel, I take you on hikes with me to enjoy beautiful places and to share how I do on-location art. In this episode I am hiking the Greenwater to Echo Lake Trail again. The trailhead is about 20 miles east of Enumclaw along Highway 410, heading toward Mount Rainier National Park. It's a great trail, many pretty viewpoints of the creek, which is flowing full and clear in mid-August. There are a few other hikers on the trail, but it's usually pretty quiet. The forest is tall and deep and shady, so it's a great escape from the city heat in the summer. Within the first few miles, you pass two crystal clear, cold, emerald green lakes, great for picnicking and swimming in the later summer. I hike for almost 2 hours along the Meadow Creek, then paint at a beautiful shady location next to the creek. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell as well so you get notified when I upload a new video.
Hello, so here's the spot for today. Beautiful hike along the Greenwater Echo Lake Trail. Let me show you the scene. I'm going to park it here in the shade today and paint this little creek running over the stones, some nice rapids, lots of greens and reds and yellows, blues to paint. Not sure what the sun's going to do through the day, but it should be interesting. It's a beautiful spot. Nice breeze, not a lot of bugs so far, so gonna get set up. Okay, I'm all set up. I've got my easel parked here in the shade by the river, and one of my first things I like to do after a hike, I've been hiking for about an hour and a half to get here. I like to have a cup of coffee, bring a thermos of hot coffee, and maybe have a chunk of chocolate, some dark chocolate, give me a little caffeine boost, help me recover from that hike, and get me psyched up for a great painting, and maybe eat my lunch first. It's about midday here, so it's a great first step maybe to have some lunch and get charged up, make sure I have the energy to keep going for 2 or 3 hours, which is typical. Luckily my wife loves to cook and is a great cook. Today she made me a salmon and avocado wrap with veggies from our garden, so I might do that. I might have my lunch real quick first, make sure I'm ready to go for the painting.
I'm using an 11 by 14 unstained panel. I gesso it myself, adding a few extra coats and some texture with the brush. I start as usual by doing a quick pencil sketch to get the composition where I want it. Then I go over the light pencil sketch using a small bristle brush and oil paint heavily diluted with distilled turpentine. It's a beautiful spot, so I take a little more leisurely approach than my usual plein air approach. Instead of just using burnt sienna for the sketch, I use colors that more closely match the final colors: alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, burnt umber, sap green. I also use this small brush to start blocking in some of the areas. Normally I would jump to a bigger brush sooner for this block in, but this is such a nice spot beside the creek, I'm taking a little slower approach. Now I've moved to a larger brush to block in the big areas. This is a number 10 flat. I've pre-mixed the paint, getting 5 or 6 pools of color on my palette that are as close as possible to the final color. like to step back or even away from the panel once in a while to get fresh perspective. Stepping back about 10 feet can help me see the errors in the color or composition that I might be missing. It's also fun to explore the area and find subjects for future paintings, like these fantastic rapids. Please comment or ask questions below. I appreciate the feedback and I'm always looking to improve. Tell me in the comments below if you have a favorite hike or a scene you would like to see painted. I use a large soft mop brush. This is the brush with the blue handle, occasionally to smooth the water. I also use a palette knife to add different texture or to draw lines. Wherever I can, I use the biggest brush possible. I sharpen it on the palette and wipe off most of the paint to draw sharp lines. I use the flat with a lot of paint to cover bigger areas. Working fast in oils is a challenge. If you move too fast, you can wipe off the underlying paint rather than applying it to the panel. I add liquid and turpentine and mix the paint to a buttery consistency, then load up my brush so that it comes off thick onto the panel. If the weather is too hot, or if your consistency is wrong, it doesn't always work. This is an alla prima approach, wet on wet, and different from the approach I take in the studio, where I have more time and can let layers dry. I preserve the unpainted panel for the highlights of the rapids. These will be my lightest value, the closest to white. Other highlights are actually pretty dark, close to the middle of my value range. A value in painting is the degree of dark or light. I mix up a few pools of white with a little ultramarine blue or cerulean blue or alizarin crimson and paint the highlights of the water spilling over the rocks. I use another brush as a maul stick and paint the small flowers. As I paint the highlights, the brush picks up the paint and darkens the color. I either use this in other areas on the painting or wipe it off and pick up fresh paint. I really enjoy hiking and painting. I appreciate you joining me. Please comment or ask questions below. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. The painting is nearing completion now.
Okay, here's the end result. I stayed here quite a bit, longer than I had planned, about 5 hours. So beautiful here, so calm and pleasant. Weather's perfect, no mosquitoes, just a beautiful day. The sound of the river flowing by, so relaxing. So there's the finished painting. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Definitely came together at the end. Well worth my time. Thanks for joining me.